This answers a lot of your questions, bro. Well, how do you tell your first wife that it's your polygyny? Well, how do you do this without breaking her heart? Or how do you decide if you should do it and she's going to threaten to take the kids away? All right. How do you decide? Or how do you make more money? Or how? It's not the how, it's the how to think part. Assalamu alaikum, peace. I'm Coach Nazir, one of the founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, as well as one of the authors of the book, Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored. Now, I'm coming to you today as of this filming from Africa. You might hear some construction noise in the background. Hopefully, we're able to edit that out or minimize as much as possible. But I want to share something for the men. All right, I get asked a lot of questions. How to do polygyny? What do you do when you travel? I hear a lot of the how-tos in particular. But it really comes back to how to think. That really separates the champions from those who just wish, if you will, or the winners from the whiners, as I like to put it. But there are 6 specific C's. Some of them are internal and external. You'll recognize the polarity as I'm talking about it. 1, you got to do the internal work. I'll talk about them in the polygamy roadmap and, of course, in our books and even some other videos. But I want to get very specific here and just give you a shortcut, if you will, just because the amount of time that we put into our own education is lacking. So I'm going to give you a shortcut, and prayerfully, you'll choose to go deeper if you want to win in practicing polygyny. And again, polygyny specifically means a husband who is married to multiple wives. Polygamy is the general term, means a spouse who has multiple spouses. Under that is polygyny, and then polyandry, meaning a wife who has multiple husbands. All right, we ain't on that. We talk about polygyny. So with that being said, let's get to the first C. The very first C is to concede. Concede. This is internal work that must be done. You have to recognize and humble yourself to easily admit you don't know it all. There's growth work that needs to be done. We have to concede to ourselves. You don't have to announce it to the world. Everybody knows you're already ignorant at first, so you become intelligent over time. But we must concede to ourselves that we need to learn how to grow, how to win in relationships, how to communicate, how to actually lead, how to make more money, if you will. We need to concede to ourselves that we don't know it all. Get over the pride, get over that hump, and become a great student to begin with. Next part of that internal work, again, is comply. We have to comply. As we begin that growth work, and it's time to up our communication, up our listening game, being able to really read between the lines, we need to comply with the information that we have been given, that we're reading, that we're studying, that we are learning from a mentor or a program or a course or whatever it may be. We must comply. Put our opinions to the side, because clearly, if we conceded that we don't know something and we're learning it, well, put in effect the things that you're already learning. See, the quickest path to success is to go from idea to execution. We like to go all around the bend and back again and all that kind of stuff when it comes to our own personal growth. But the quickest way, concede, get over your pride, and implement what you learn right away. So comply. Very, very important. Okay, jump into the third internal C. That is change. Change. You may have the idea to change. You have a new thing to implement when it comes to communicating. You might have learned the 5 love languages and you understood yours, and then you understood your wife's or wives. But you complied, you did a few different things, but now you have to change. Now you have this new information. You're executing on this stuff. You admit it already. You got over the hump. You're putting some things in play. Now you must change and make that part of a habit. That's called growth. It's simple. You change. You don't even have one single cell, neither do I, that I had when I was 5 years old. None. Every single cell that we had at that time is dead. We become a new person, new bones, all this type of stuff, but we grew along that process. The sad part is many people's mentality, their emotional growth, stuck. They didn't read the books. They didn't put into the class. Don't know about the programs. So therefore, we deal with a whole lot of stuff as adults. We drag a lot of trauma, a lot of drama, a lot of ignorance into adulthood and think things should comply. Things should change. Or as my mother would say, the universe doesn't revolve around you. Now I understand what that means. I didn't understand as a youth. But those are 3 internal C's. Again, very quickly. Concede. Get over yourself. Get over the ego. Ego means edging God out, or at least trying to. That's foolish to begin with. 2, comply. Implement what you learn. 3, change. This is internal stuff, not external for the world to go ahead and see. See, the internal work that you do already makes you more attractive. To concede publicly makes you look weak. All right? That's not something that's attractive. Women are attracted to strength. They want you to be assertive. So we're going to get into the 3 external C's, but I'm just letting you know in general, not, oh, you should go, you should be vulnerable. No, there's a time and a place for that, but it's not really a time and a place for that for a man who's already built to be a warrior, to protect and provide and to move forward. Now, you can concede to a mentor or amongst a small circle of people that have your best interest in mind and that you can trust. No doubt. You can concede as part of a program. You're learning from a coach or you're learning from someone in particular. No doubt. But this is not for the world, if you will. This is internal work that gets done. This is stuff that we hunker down on, we get to, and we implement, execute on. Very important to understand. It's a big difference. You don't just comply in the public. Someone says something, yep, I obey. It is what it is. I'm stuck. There, I'm good. Nah. Then you become stuck. Who is it? You easily are led astray. Someone says something, you go this way. You comply. What woman is attracted to that? Somebody who just continues to comply, even with her. To be such an agreeable husband or what's called a yes man is actually an insult. That's part of complying publicly or externally. And then changing externally, listen, our work happens inside, but it's demonstrated, shown on the outside. All right, that's the 3 internal C's. So let's talk about the external after you do the internal work. The first C, external, is to champion. See, if you've already done the internal work, that means it should be demonstrable externally. So now you've already done the internal C's, right? So what causes it that you're championing? You see, I talk about traveling, I talk about polygyny, talk about family and legacy, things I'm doing, right? So I'm championing something. And I've already shared a number of the ups and downs and different ways I went about polygyny and trying to grow and didn't know and didn't really have good examples, but then came across people who saw more of me than I saw myself. But then I took a cause and recognized, you know what? After we got this thing right, there are more people that can benefit from it than to just go ahead and be silent like the successful majority of those who practice polygyny, right? So what causes it that you're championing? What idea? What did you learn? What did you comply to? What did you change into? And now you're moving forward. It doesn't have to be something, on your YouTube channel or you're all out in the public for, but what is it that you're championing? What is it that you stand for? We know we've all heard, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Then what is it that you are championing? That's the question I'm asking you. 2, the second external C, charge. What are you leading the charge for? What are you moving forward to? What movements are you supporting? You don't have to be the lead, but what is it that you're pushing forward? See, we talk about under our brand being outstanding, not simply being excellent or being great or being good. You'll fall short easily, but if you're striving for outstanding and you fail at that, but you land on excellence, that's still better than the mediocre masses. So striving to be outstanding for us is more than just the name of our companies and our brand. It's a reminder that the mediocre many, all right, the frivolous few, if you will, aren't even trying. And I'm not saying the frivolous few as though they're not valuable. No, they're valuable to somebody. They're valuable in Allah's sight. Yeah, indeed. I'm speaking on making a bigger difference in the world. Therefore, what are you charging? The third external C, correct. Correct. The Prophet ﷺ said, if you see something wrong, then correct it with your hands. If you're unable to correct it with your hands, then correct it with your tongue. Say something. And if you're unable to do it with that, then at least feel bad about it in your heart, but that's the weakest of Iman. That's the weakest of faith. So, as you're doing the internal work and that change and that complying and that conceding, that is correcting yourself, correcting your behavior to make sure you're on the right path. But Even externally, you may be on the wrong path. We're humans. Listen, I disagree with myself with stuff I did 25 years ago. Crazy thing, also 2 to 5 years ago, even 2 to 5 months, I can see on ways to make things better. So correct yourself first, but also don't be scared, shy to correct other situations that impact you, your family, and the community as a whole. Now, why do I share these 6 C's? I share them because they're attractive. That's what makes men men. All of these things come to the biggest C, which is courage. So that'll be 7 C's instead of 6. Let's add that. So whether that is learning how to communicate better, this answers a lot of your questions, bro. Well, how do you tell your first wife that it's your polygyny? Well, how do you do this without breaking her heart? Or how do you decide if you should do it and she's going to threaten to take the kids away? All right? How do you decide? Or how do you make more money? Or how? It's not the how, it's the how to think part. It's the making sure that I have my C's in line, if you will. That's one of the reasons I created the 5-part polygamy masterclass. If you're interested in that, hit the link in the description. Go check it out. Enroll. I'm actually coaching students for the first quarter of this year regarding it as they go and progress through it. I hadn't offered that in the past. But there's time, and time only moves in one direction. So if our lives are made out of small little bits of time, it's time to take action, to execute, and to move forward. All of the things I mentioned to you. Whether it's like, well, how do you find women that are attractive? Where do they hang out? Like a whole bunch of sisters just hang out together. Yes, we want our husband to have multiple wives. No, that's really not how that works. That's not like a certain area you go to. Yeah, I'm in Africa right now, right? Okay, I'm in Egypt. People forget Egypt is in Africa. But the culture and the community and people, they're more familiar with polygyny. That doesn't mean that they want it in their lives. Women necessarily want it in their lives. But what makes it attractive is the man who is assertive, who is confident, who demonstrates that courage, who has these 7 C's in line. So I'm gonna recap really quickly, and I'm gonna wrap this video up. So the first internal C is concede. The second is comply. The third is change. The first external is champion. The second one is charge. The third is correct. And that leads up to that big C, if you will, which is courage, which is attractive to begin with. That allows you to lead in your masculinity, to grow and also be humble, to recognize that minimally you should be a monster, somebody able to just cause things to happen. But in your intelligence and in wisdom, you restrain that with kindness, not being nice. I'm not a nice guy. Nice guys lose. Nice guys are agreeable. Nice guys are passive. No. Be kind. The Prophet said, "Let talk to them. Control your anger, right? Let talk to them, or don't get angry. But you should get angry at the wrong things. You should get angry whether there's a genocide happening. You should speak out against what's wrong and work to command what is right to the best of your ability. That is attractive. That is what men do. Anything else is not a man so much, at least to me, or for what I'm looking for in characteristics of husbands for my daughters, nor what I'm teaching my sons. With that being said, Coach Nazir helped me get their shift together. So if you watch this entire video, let me know you did. That helps support what we're doing. Share it. Of course, sharing is caring, as my wives say. But keep in mind, you have to be more than twice the man. That's why I want to drop those 7 C's on you. If you're interested in some of our courses and programs and coaching, feel free to look us up. Again, we at Outstanding Personal Relationships. We'll put 7 C's. Yep, sell the 7 C's, the digit 7 and CS in the comments. Let me know you support us. I appreciate you. Remember, wish changes nothing, but a decision changes everything. And I want you to be outstanding. Because average is nothing but the top of the bottom and the bottom of the top. With that, Assalamu alaikum. Peace.